90 to 91. During that time, as a visiting senior research scholar at the Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, I began work on this project. I owe an enormous debt of gratitude to the Most Venerable Professor Sandhong Rinpoche and his staff for hosting me and my family at the Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, and to Rinpoche himself for his generous personal help. I thank the Venerable Geshe Nawang Sharab for all of his kind logistical help at Santarakshita Library and for friendship and philosophical interchange. Thanks also to the Venerable Lobsang Norbu Shastri and the Venerable Acharya Nawang Samten for extensive conversations from which I learned much and for useful comments on this work, and to Karma for Tibetan lessons. I am deeply grateful to the Venerable Professor Geshe Yeshes Thapkaz for reading Debu Mar Tsabiye Shizrab and related texts with me and for giving me his invaluable oral commentary on these texts during that year and on many subsequent occasions. Nobody has taught me more about Madhyamaka philosophy, and it is hard to imagine a more patient, generous, and incisive scholar and teacher. Without his lucid teachings, and without Geshe-la's enormous patience, I could never have approached this text with any degree of success. While he would not agree with everything I say, my own reading of this text is enormously influenced by his. Special thanks to Sri Yeshur Tashi Shastri for his translation and transcription assistance during many of these sessions, and for an enormous amount of cheerful and generous general research assistance, including a great deal of careful proofreading and detailed comments on this translation. During that year and in subsequent years, I also benefited greatly from my visits to the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. I am deeply grateful to the Venerable Professor Geshe Lobsang Gyatso for his hospitality and for his teaching. In our many conversations and from his writings I have learned a great deal, and this project certainly reflects his influence. Without his patient advice on interpretative and expository details, and without his vigorous critique of many of my ideas, it would have been impossible to produce this commentary. I thank the Venerable Sharab Gyatso for his tireless and invaluable translation and assistance during that time. The Venerable Sharab Jayasto, the Venerable Graham Woodhouse, the Venerable Tenzin Dekhen, and the Venerable Huon have given much to me in many hours of philosophical interchange through translation help and through their hospitality and friendship. Mr. Philip Golden has also offered many helpful suggestions on the translation and commentary. I also thank the Venerable Kantrul Rinpoche, the Venerable Geshe Yeshe Topden, Jen Drupthop, and Jen Lam Rinpa for their teachings, and Acharya Nyama Charing for his introduction and translation on those occasions. Special thanks to Nyama Penthog for improving my Tibetan. I thank His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his encouragement and for valuable discussion of some difficult interpretative issues. I am also very grateful to friends and colleagues at Drepung Losling Monastic College. My visit there was extremely enjoyable and also philosophically fruitful. Thanks to the Venerable Geshe Dakpa Toepjeal and the Venerable Thupten Dorji for arranging everything and for talking with me about this and other work. I am very grateful to the Venerable Geshe Namgyal Wangchen for detailed comments and encouragement on this work and for useful discussions about Madhyamaka, translation, the task of presenting Buddhist philosophical texts to the West, and other topics. My acknowledgement of help in India would not be complete without acknowledging the gracious hospitality and assistance in living of Sri N. Rai, Sri Arun Kumar Rai, Sri A. R. Singh, and their families in Sarnath, the hospitality of Kunzam Topden Martam and his family in Sikkim. It was the Martam house in which the writing actually got started, and Dr. L.S. Suri of the American Institute of Indian Studies in New Delhi, whose administrative efficiency kept everything moving smoothly. I am deeply grateful to 4 friends who read a complete draft of this work and provided honest, searching, sometimes scathing criticism. What more could one ask from colleagues and friends? Many of their suggestions are incorporated in the book as it now stands, and much of whatever is good in it is due to their enormous contributions. Sometimes I have disagreed with each of them. And whatever errors remain are certainly my own. So thanks especially to the Venerable Gareth Sparham, the Venerable Sharab Gyatso, Guy Newland, and Jane Broughton for copious corrections and criticism and for extensive productive discussion. Thanks also to Professor Alan Sponberg for useful comments on an earlier draft, and to Janet Gyatso, Graham Parks, and George Dreyfus for reading and commenting on the penultimate draft. Another group of colleagues to whom I owe thanks are those who kept faith. This may require some explanation. I discovered when a Western, analytically trained philosopher of mind began to work on Buddhist philosophy that many in philosophy and cognitive science took this as evidence of some kind of insanity, or at least as an abandonment of philosophy, per se. This is not the place to speculate on the origins or nature of the stigma attaching in some parts of our profession to Asian philosophy. But it is a sad fact to be noted and to be rectified. In any case, I therefore owe special thanks to those who went out of their way to support this work, and to let me know that they took it and me seriously. I thank especially my friend and colleague Meredith Michaels for constant support, advice, and encouragement. And I thank Murray Keitley, John Connolly, Nalini Bhushan, Catherine Adelson, Elizabeth Spellman, Frederic Marglin, Lee Bowie, Tom Wartenberg, Veer Chappell, Gareth Matthews, and John Robison, as well as Dan Lloyd, Steve Horst, and Joe Rouse. Thanks under this head also go to many of my non-philosopher colleagues in the Hampshire College Cultural Studies program. I single out Mary Russo, Joan Landis, Susan Douglas, Jeffrey Wallen, Norman Holland, and L. Brown Kennedy. I also gratefully acknowledge the support of several Hewlett Mellon faculty development grants from Hampshire College, and thank the deans of the college for supporting this work so generously. I am also grateful for the support of this project and of related projects involving academic exchange between the American and Tibetan academic communities from President Greg Prince of Hampshire College. Thanks also to Ms. Ruth Hammond and Ms. Lenny Bowen for regular logistical support, to Mr. Andrew Janiak for his extensive assistance and editorial suggestions in the final stages of manuscript preparation, and to Mr. Schwa Garfield and Mr. Jeremy Mage for additional assistance in manuscript preparation and proofreading. Thanks as well to many groups of students in Convention, Knowledge and Existence, European and Indo-Tibetan perspectives for putting up with and helping me to refine my presentation of this text, and for my students in Buddhist philosophy at Mount Holyoke College for working through an earlier draft of this text. Portions of the translations of and commentaries on chapters 1, 2, 13, and XIV appeared in Philosophy East and West in Garfield, 1990 and 1994. I thank the editors for permission to use that material here. The Tibetan edition of the text is from Digu Dun Grub Dibu rtsa grel bzhugs, Commentary on Mulamadhyamakakarika, Lugs Pa Students Welfare Publishing, Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies, Sarnath, 1987. I am more grateful than I could ever express to my family for accompanying me to India for 1 year, for enduring my absence when I have been in India alone, and for enduring my preoccupation with this and related philosophical projects. I am especially grateful to Blaine Garson, who has shouldered far more than her fair share of parenting and other household responsibilities. Every stage of this project is dependent upon her help, sacrifice, and support. I hope that I haven't forgotten anybody.